start a fire. Yes, the Kasanovians. Yes, the Kasanovians. I was thinking about this the other day. I used to use an air purifier as a tripod back in my grotty apartment in Leeds. When I didn't have any money, I used my air purifier. I got this air purifier because there was a guy next door to me who smoked in his room every single night. And the fumes used to come into my room, so I thought I'd get an air purifier. Well, it made not even a shite of difference. I also used to put a white towel in the gap underneath the door in the hopes that the fumes wouldn't come through, but fuck me, they came through. We've gone up in the world now. I actually use a selfie stick. Anyway, in this stream, all I want to do in this stream is just delight you beyond belief. And by the end of this stream, you're going to have anti-game artistry principles that you can just plug and play, install into your modus operandi to just start attracting hotter women, living a rockstar dating life, and get out of whatever current slump you might be in. So yeah, if you don't know who I am, my name's Kristian, and my purpose in life is simple. I help entrepreneurs, business owners, high-performing, busy professionals. I teach them how to create instant chemistry with women they've just met. So I give them the skills to turn ice-cold strangers into devoted lovers faster than a priest deletes his browsing history. So I'm easily the best in the world at what I do. I don't say that lightly. If you don't believe me, then by all means, evidence has got the loudest voice. Just go on Kristian Kasanova Testimonials on YouTube. You can listen to some of my testimonials. Also, the first link beneath this video will take you to my website, which is flooded with testimonials. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll be able to see WhatsApp wins, screenshots, actual real world results that the guys who I coach one-on-one are pulling. And I think that you can come to your own conclusions based around that. But the thing that I teach is not game, it's anti-game, okay? So I came to the realization that a lot of the men's dating industry is fucked. On one side of the fence, you've got these low-value pickup dudes who are saying, oh, it's all about game, looks, fucking vibe, push, pull, vibe, stack, has this girl hooked yet? And then you've got these red pill wankers who are saying, oh, ignore women till you're 35, looks, money, status, chew on a fucking tennis ball until your jaw is maxed out. And then, maybe just then, you'll be able to get the woman of your dreams. So I take a different approach. I focus on anti-game artistry, which is a 2 middle finger salute to a society that wants to keep you shackled, 2 middle finger salute to the weird pickup guys. Because if you're watching this, you're probably like the guys who I work with, where you're probably working a busy job, busy lifestyle. You don't want to get a reputation for yourself as some low-value pickup dude. You probably also want to be efficient with your time as well. So you don't want daytime cold approach to become a second job. Yeah, so you don't want to be wasting your time on dead leads. Yeah, one of the weird mantras that the pickup industry used to shout about was, oh, just keep talking, bro. If you're in a conversation with a girl and she's clearly not receptive, they'd be like, oh, just keep talking. You just need to game her more. No, fuck that. Anti-game artistry is about focusing your attention on your women, okay? So you usually know within the first few seconds if a girl is your girl or not. Yeah, so we focus more not on attraction, but on repulsion, okay? So it's about leaning in to your authentic edge, leaning into that so viciously that the right women get attracted and the wrong women get repelled, okay? So it's not a numbers game, it's a clarity game. It's going out to find your fuck yeses, not the maybe girls, not the no girls, the fuck yeses, the women who just light up instantly, because these are the women that you can create instant chemistry with. Yeah, it's the women who are always meant for you. So the thing that I teach, it's helping guys be more efficient with their time, recognizing which women are the fuck yeses, going deep with those women, and just saying a polite au revoir to the no's or the maybes, rather than wasting your time on dead leads. So that's a little bit about me, a little bit about what I do. Again, you can see all my testimonials, Kristian Kasanova testimonials on YouTube. The link below this video will take you to my website. Evidence has got the loudest voice. I think we live in a trust recession right now. So you're probably watching content like this, watching my content, watching other guys' content, thinking, fuck, I don't even know who to trust. Is this true? Is it true for me? What do I believe to be true about the world that isn't? Oh, this guy, he's actually out there in the field showing his rejection, showing everything. Honestly, something I'm proud about as well is, rather than not just helping guys with the skill of cold approach, but I'm also now helping clients of mine become cold approach coaches, right? So if you're watching this stream, maybe your life's shit at the moment, you're thinking to yourself, fuck, I can not only learn this skill from this guy, but I can also launch my own cold approach career. You know, if you want to make a 6-figure income, traveling the world, getting laid for a living, living a rock star dating life, just living the sort of life that makes your friends back home feel jealous. If you know you've got this music to share, you've got this symphony inside of you, you know that you could be doing more, you know you're capable of more, but when it comes to doing difficult things, maybe you regress, maybe you hold yourself back, maybe you've got that voice in your head which is like, play it safe, be a good boy, ask for permission when you're allowed to go for a shit, oh, who do you think you are, stay in your lane. And the crazy part is, all of these voices that we experience, so you'll have probably felt it, you know, if you go out there and you try and cold approach a woman today, most likely you'll be hit with this invisible wall of resistance which keeps you froze to the spot, and your mind will be feeding you all of these reasons not to approach. Like, oh, she looks busy, she looks bitchy, she looks like she might have a boyfriend, oh, cold approach is weird, oh, I shouldn't be doing this, oh, what if people see me, oh, what if I approach and I get rejected and everybody sees, what if I bump into my colleagues whilst I'm approaching, oh, what are they going to think of me? And a lot of times we have this kaleidoscope of concerns in our cranium, and it can be very difficult to penetrate this on your own, which is why I say to people, don't do it on your own. You know, you don't have to work with me, but I think in my experience, it's kind of like trying to teach yourself jujitsu by watching YouTube videos and rolling around with a pillow on your kitchen floor. It's like, no, find a dojo, find the best teacher possible, train with black belts, train with absolute savages, become successful via osmosis, because this is how my clients transmute decades into days. They spend 3 days with me. I install my anti-game artistry system, which has already worked for over 200 guys just like you, and then I give them an entire year of support. So I've got guys in my community. I've been working with these motherfuckers since 2023, right? Because I understand that with something like daytime approach, it's not a magic bullet, it's not a quick fix. And something that I think is so important on this stream is actually one of the principles that I wanted to share, so we'll transition smoothly into the bulk of this stream, is a lot of guys, you need to have a reality check. And a lot of times you just need to have a no bullshit conversation with somebody who doesn't give a fuck about you. So for example, I had a call today, earlier before I did this live stream. And I was speaking with this guy. He said, you know, I've been following your content for a little while, I've been binge watching it. So I thought, you know, I'll do something that most guys don't have the balls to do, which is I'll book in this call with you. What have I got to lose? And he explained to me his worries about booking in this call. He was like, oh, I thought it was just going to be one of these high pressure sales calls where you try and pitch me your program. And what he found blew his fucking mind, because when he got on the call with me, one of a basic question that I ask people is, you know, who are you? What do you do? Why have you reached out to me? And the first words that came out of his mouth were, well, I don't really have a lot going on in my life right now. I'm in my mid-30s. I don't have a lot of friends. My social skills aren't as good as I'd like them to be. I'm kind of just going to work, going to the gym, watching cold approach videos, and then going to sleep, right? So before I even entertained the thought of thinking, right, could this guy become a client right now? I just stopped him dead in his tracks. We'll call him Horatio. I said to Horatio, listen, dudes, I'll be completely transparent with you. Cold approaching right now is the last thing you should be doing, because he was explaining stories to me that he'd had these intentions to do things like go to boxing classes, go to dance classes, start traveling more. But every time he had the thought of doing something, he would feel paralyzed. It was almost like this procrastination paralysis where he wanted to do things. He wanted to improve himself. He wanted to live a life beyond the beige, but the comfort quicksand would claw him back, right? So I explained to him that my definition of power is minimizing the time between thought and action. So if you want to do something like daytime approach, you need to have the basics in check first. Because if you're a guy and you don't have a lot of friends right now, your social skills are not where they need to be, you are feeling depressed as you are going about your day-to-day life, you're spending too much time on your own, you're spending too much time doom scrolling social media, like, cold approach is not going to be the answer to your problems. You need to get the basics in check first. So what I said to this guy, and he was super grateful for this conversation, by the way, because I've said it on many pieces of content, but the only thing I give a fuck about is my client's success, right? I'm not motivated by money. Money is the cheapest thing that you're ever going to spend. I'm not motivated by financial gain. I'm motivated by transformation. Deeper than that, I'm motivated by adoration. I think a big part of me wants to be worshipped. I want to feel recognized for the work that I'm doing. So a lot of people don't know this about me, but I've got cripplingly bad people-pleasing tendencies. So I almost learned game accidentally when I was growing up as a child, because for those of you who don't know, I grew up in a single mother household. I grew up on a council estate in a town called Barrow-in-Furness in the Lake District. You want to go there if you're fucking lost. And my dad was a raging alcoholic, so didn't have a strong masculine role model in my life. Because I grew up in this single mother household, my mum's got a lot of mental health issues, so I had to learn game accidentally. It's like I learned game as this defense mechanism. I understood that I had to say things with the right intonation, the right tonality at the right time, otherwise I might inflict the wrath of my mother, right? So when I work with my clients right now, I've still got these people-pleasing tendencies embedded into me. So when I work with my guys, I go above and beyond to get them the results that they want to get, because if I don't, it makes me feel like, I don't know, it just makes me feel worthless. It makes me feel like I'm, back being a kid again. My mum shouting at me, and I just feel like out of control. So the reason why I tell this story is because I don't work with anybody who I don't believe I can get 100% results for. So the guy that I was having this conversation with, I was like, dude, let's forget about the program. Let's forget about the coaching. You've booked in this call because you've obviously got pain in your life that you want to solve right now. So let's forget about the program. Let's forget about the money. Let's forget about the financial investment. I just want to help you right now on this call. So what I said to him was, I just gave him no bullshit feedback as well, because he said to me, okay, after this call, I'm going to start doing my best. I said, fuck your best. Your best is not good enough, because your best has got you to where you're at today. Stop doing your best. Focus on doing what is necessary. And the reason why I believe people listen to me now is because of the man that I used to be. Yeah, if you go back onto the oldest videos on my channel, just look at how much of a loser I used to be, right? I was a porn addict, I had erectile dysfunction, had £24.82 of universal credit in my bank account. No woman wanted me. If I did magically get a woman back to my place, my dick didn't work. So I spent the rest of the evening scrolling Reddit to find out how to overcome erectile dysfunction. I was like the lowest of the low. I was a loser. And something that I realized was, in life, we don't get what we deserve. We get what we think we deserve, yeah? And that hit me like a ton of bricks, because I realized up to that point in my life, I've been playing it safe, yeah? I was like, you know what? I am capable of more. I'm watching other guys live the life that I want to live, and it pisses me off to know that I'm not where I need to be, yeah? So I just looked at myself in the mirror. I was like, you know what, Kristian? No one's coming to fucking save you. So I went out, I started cold approaching, I got coached, collaborated with the best coach that I could find, because I understood I didn't know what I didn't know. I said to you earlier on that something like daytime approach, nobody should be learning it on their own. I spent a decade performing magic as a magician, and I still got coached. One of the guys who I work with, he used to be an actor in Hollywood. He got coached. Another one of my guys was a club promoter in nightlife for a decade. He had more options than he knew what to do with, and he still got coached in daytime approach because he didn't know how to transfer his nighttime skills into the daytime. So long story short, if you are looking to become elite at this skill so you can get dates on demand with wife-worthy women, but just deeper than that, you probably want to learn something like daytime approach because you want to feel in control of your life. Yeah, you don't want to be a victim to algorithmic dating apps. You probably don't want to leave your dating life up to chance. You probably don't want to be festering in grotty nightclubs until 3 a.m. whilst Shut Up and Dance With Me is bulldozing on the discotheque. And you probably don't want to try and get laid through your social circle because that can get messy. Or maybe like me, you don't have any friends right now. I didn't have any friends 5 years ago. Now all my friends are my clients. It's fucking awesome how it's all transpired. But you probably have your own motivations for learning daytime approach. But the best piece of advice I can give you is it's not a solo sport. It is a team sport and it's an extreme sport. So the reason why I decided not to work with the guy is not because he's a bad person. He's just not ready to include cold approach into his lifestyle right now. Right? A lot of these moron charlatans online will have you believe that cold approach is going to fix your life. It's not. Cold approach is a complement to an already abundant lifestyle. Does that mean you need to be a male model making 8 figures a year? Does it mean you need to be an Instagram celebrity? Does it mean you need to have biceps the size of coconuts? Does it mean you have to jump onto TRT and be a high value man? No. But it does mean you need to have the basics in check, yeah? Have a good group of friends. Have a lifestyle that you're actually interested in. Have hobbies, have pastimes, work on your social skills. Like the guy that I spoke with on this call, he was like, okay, I'm going to go to dance class, I'm going to go to boxing class, maybe go to an improv class as well. But if you've got the basics in check, then you've actually got things to invite these women into. Now, the caveat to that is, sure, you can just start cold approaching right now. it's a very individual pursuit, but the reason why I explained to this guy I wouldn't recommend starting with something like cold approach right now is because he wasn't keeping promises to himself, okay? Every time he said he was going to do something, he bailed, right? And this is going to lower our confidence if we don't keep our promises to ourselves, because when you're cold approaching, I've said it before, cold approach will hold a mirror up to who you are. So if you've become accustomed to not following through on your words, if you've not got into the habit of ritualizing action and minimizing the time between thought and action, then all that's going to happen is you might get started with daytime approach, but you're not going to have the discipline and the perseverance and the consistency to stick with it when your mind starts feeding you all of these excuses. So what I said to this guy was, listen, you're not going to become a client of mine right now. I'm not going to try and hard sell you onto some program that you don't fucking need. In 30 days, I'm going to send you a WhatsApp message. I put a reminder in my phone. It's almost like, you ever seen that scene in Fight Club? That scene in Fight Club where Brad Pitt has got a gun to, I think it was like a doctor, like the guy in Fight Club that was like, oh, I always wanted to be a doctor, but life got in the way. So Brad Pitt or Tyler Durden holds a gun up to the guy's head and he's like, if in 30 days or however long the time frame was, you're not a doctor, I'm going to find you and, fucking bad things are going to happen. It's kind of like that. I think something that so many of us are lacking in our lives is no bullshit masculine accountability. Yeah, no bullshit masculine accountability. Just somebody to have a conversation with us and just to break us down, right? Whenever I get coached, and by the way, I've invested over $100,000 now into my own self-education. I always used to be one of those guys who was, oh, coaching's a scam or courses are a scam. I actually remember when I first started learning cold approach in Leeds, I met this guy and he became my wing for a couple of sessions. I met him on one of these weird old school day game forums. I remember walking through the streets of Leeds with him. I remember saying to him, I don't know why anybody would get coached with cold approach. Like, why would anybody pay for it? And this is me, who was literally getting zero fucking traction at the time. Like, why would anybody pay for this? But now I understand. You invest into mentors for accountability, for support, for guidance. I've got clients of mine now who are not only cold approach clients, but I'm helping them construct their own cold approach coaching businesses as well, like I explained before. So just having that check-in, having somebody to just sit down with you and be like, listen, you are slacking off right now, because you already know it as well. Do you know what I mean? If you're doing what I used to do, which is go to work, come back, watch porn, wank off into a sock, and then feel sorry for myself, like, you already know that you're failing. This is the conversation I used to have with myself. Like, Kristian, you know you're shit. But until I actually sat down with people who just gave me this brutally honest feedback, it never really sunk in. So, I mean, the call that I had with this guy today, just giving him a cold, hard reality check, I didn't make any money from this call. I didn't make any financial gain. But it's the ripple effect that has. Because I just felt, it felt like I just made $1 million, because I genuinely felt as though I penetrated that guy's core and I gave him exactly what he needed to know rather than what he wanted to hear. And fuck knows what the guy's going to do. I said to him, listen, dude, at the end of the day, you could have this call with me and it could be like a Tony Robbins experience where you go singing Kumbaya on a stage for 3 days and then boom, nothing. You go back to your old ways. But I just think like having these moments where you can sit down with somebody and be like, do you know what? This guy's fucking right. Because I think the main thing that I want to be remembered for when all is said and done is this guy was just totally no bullshit, right? I might have not agreed with everything that he said. He might have triggered me. He might have made me upset from time to time, but fuck me, this guy actually cared. And this is what I say to my guys when I work with my guys one-on-one. So when guys work with me, they get in-person coaching. So 3 days, one-on-one with me, where I essentially just install the anti-game artistry system, the system that's already worked for 207 guys like you. I install that system into them. And something that I say is, listen, dude, I'm not here to be your friends. I'm here to get your results. I don't give a fuck if you don't like me. I don't give a fuck if I trigger you. I don't give a fuck if I remind you of one of your high school bullies. You are going to be successful. Why? Because my reputation is attached to my client's success. So I don't work with people who I don't think I can get results for. So that call, that guys with balls, because at the end of the day, only guys with balls will take that first step and book in that call. Most guys just watch content like this, they get a nice little dopamine spike, and then nothing changes. But when guys book in calls with me, I don't give a flying fuck if you become a client. What I do give a fuck about is giving you value that you'll actually implement. And maybe you'll become a client 1, 2, 3 years from now. I don't give a fuck. I've got enough money. I've got enough clients. What I give a fuck about is transformation, because like I'm driven by recognition, I'm driven by adoration. Like I feel this strong desire to feel worshipped, you know, like when all is said and done, I want to be remembered, even though maybe like, you know, 1,000 years no one's going to give a flying fuck about me. But it's interesting because when a rocket used to go off into orbit, it was carried by a certain fuel source, and then once it got high enough into orbit, it released this fuel source, and then it basically used another fuel source to keep going. So it's like whatever gets you started at the start. Do you know what I mean? Like I've always been motivated by the darker side of human emotions: anxiety, doubt, stress. You know, transmuting pain into power. I think a lot of times we feel these emotions like anxiety, depression, stress, and we take them as indicators not to do the thing. But what I found to be true in my own life is that is the fuel to get started, you know? So if you're pissed off right now, if you feel rage, if you see some motherfucker like me with sunglasses and a nice fitted shirt and you're thinking, oh, fucking hell, like what's this guy got that I haven't? It's like, just go back and watch the oldest videos on this channel because I was an absolute fucking moron. I honestly believe that with the right structure, with the right accountability, and with the right systems in place, that, you know, anyone can fucking do it. But I think something that people don't understand as well is, you know, change happens fast. You know, I think a lot of times we kind of have these bullshit things we say to ourselves, like, oh, I'm working on this thing, or, you know, this time next year, this is what I'm going to be doing. But, you know, if you're in a car accident, change happens fast. Your life is never the same again. Same way that if you go to the gym and you are historically used to deadlifting 200 kg, then you lift 250 kg. That becomes your new normal. In the same way that, you know, if I take a guy who's been terrified of talking to women his entire life, push him into more approaches than he could even comprehend, and let's say he starts getting phone numbers, or he starts going on dates, or, you know, he even gets himself into a relationship, it changes what he thinks is possible. Yeah, but like we said before, it's minimizing the time between thought and action, because you could spend the next 10 years thinking about doing something, or you could just do something, and then within 30 seconds, your perception of that thing might be transformed. You know, it's like the guys that I work with, because something that another principle that I wanted to share, and this is really useful, especially if you've already got skin in the cold approach game. So traditionally I say to guys, if you're learning cold approach on your own, aim to do 100 direct approaches. Yeah, 100 anti-game approaches, ideally, which is walking over to women, big set of balls, hard-hitting compliment, like, excuse me, you look incredible, you look fucking fantastic, you look so good, I want to take you out on a date. Just like, you know, I've got a video on my channel, it's like I approached 33 girls in London. That's like the main anti-game artistry video. But once you've learned cold approach properly, with precision, ideally you've got feedback, you understand what you're shit at. So when I work with my guys one-on-one in the field, I fit them with invisible microphones, like super incognito, James Bond type of thing. And this allows me to listen in to every conversation they have and just give them no bullshit feedback in real time. But I don't give people a shopping list of things that they need to improve on. Let's say your name's John and I'm working with you in the field. Let's say I listen into one of your conversations and it's absolutely shit and there's 10 things which are wrong with it. I'm not just going to say, right, that was shit, here's 10 things which were wrong. No, I'll just give you one thing to focus on at a time, because I understand after coaching over 200 guys, we can only really focus on one task at a time, yeah? So if you go into one of your conversation, let's say we're working together one-on-one in London or maybe Bali, then I'll be like, okay, that was good. However, next conversation, all I want you to focus on is go slower, yeah? Let the silence do the work. Just slow the fuck down, sit in that tension more, yeah? Because this is probably one of the most common issues that I see with the guys that I coach one-on-one, is just being too erratic, carrying so much nervous energy into their conversations. And, you know, it's normal at the start, but until you've actually got someone to call you out on it, it's kind of like continuing to practice bad form at the gym. Eventually, you're going to get an injury. And this is why I say to guys, one approach with me is worth around 30 approaches on your own, because I'm listening to the conversation, I'm giving you no bullshit feedback, and then you've got a clear plan of action for the next approach. That's how we just transmute decades into days. That's why my guys get, I would say, the best results in this entire industry, and they also go on to become cold approach coaches and build lucrative coaching businesses. This is like, you know, if you're watching me right now, this is like finding Bitcoin in 2008. You know, it's like my guys become successful through osmosis. If you want to learn the skill of cold approach because you want to live a rock star dating life, but then maybe further than that, if you're anything like me, you also might have aspirations to make a business out of this. Maybe you want to live a 6-figure playboy lifestyle, traveling the world, just getting paid to talk to girls and change people's lives. Like, imagine that as a reality, because that's what I did 5 years ago. When I first saw my very first infield clip online. It was from the Natural Lifestyles, and it was one of their coaches who was cold approaching women in Barcelona. And when I saw that first infield, my mind lit up like a Christmas tree, because I was like, I can do this. I can be the best in the world at it. I don't give a fuck what I need to do. I don't give a fuck how long it takes. I don't give a fuck how many obstacles I have to overcome. I know without a shadow of a doubt, I can do this thing. I can be the best in the world. I can be the best to have ever done it. I can create a community. I can leave my dead-end job. I'm getting paid minimum wage to give public talks at the National Railway Museum in York, right? I am a low-life loser right now, but fuck me, this is my ticket to freedom. This is what I imagined. These were the conversations I had with myself. And then I just had delusional optimism. I was just relentless until, I'm talking with you today, and I think a lot of guys will come across my content right now and think, oh, it's easy for this guy. He looks good. He has got an international lifestyle. He's built, a fucking whatever. He's doing well now. But it's like, it doesn't happen by luck. It happens by design. Like, you didn't see me 5 years ago when I was getting trolled on the internet for looking ugly. So it's like, I just really, I don't know, maybe you've already come to this conclusion yourself, but my guys don't just get in contact with me because they want help with cold approach. They see me as a beacon of optimism, right? They put two and two together and realize I can become successful through osmosis. Just getting around this guy's energy will allow me to level up. Like, dude, I've had guys who've joined my coaching community, the Entourage, and before they've even had in-person coaching experiences, they've got girlfriends. Right? Purely from the energy that is transmuted. Like, imagine having calls like this with me every single week. Yeah, imagine what that will do for your psyche, for your motivation. Like the guy in question from earlier, he's going to leave that call feeling super fucking motivated. But then, if you've got calls like this every single week, I've kind of realized this more and more that, although infield one-to-one coaching is super valuable, I realize a lot of the heavy lifting just happens when guys have got somebody to talk to about this shit. Guys who can give them no bullshit feedback, guys who understand it. It's kind of like going to a jiu-jitsu gym. You understand that all of the black belts used to be shit. Everybody started off as white belts. So, I think guys appreciate that, just having that recurring contact time. But yeah, I just think it's interesting. The other thing that I can't remember what I was going to say. There was something I was going to say, but fuck knows, I can't remember. Another thing that I wanted to share in this stream was the concept of psycho mode. This is a principle that I kind of accidentally learned through making so many infield videos and turning this into a career. Psycho mode. So once you have got your 100 approaches, and once you have got skin in the game, you start going on dates, you start having magical experiences with magical women. Let's just say you've got the skill of cold approach, and now your dating life is handled. And don't forget as well, once your dating life is handled, that confidence spills into every other aspect of your life. I'll just say it bluntly. If you're not getting laid frequently, your confidence is diminishing, and you already know that, right? You might be sat at home right now on a Friday evening, swiping your way through endless profiles, hoping for a match, and it depletes your life energy, right? When you meet women in real life, it's like they can almost smell the abundance on you. This is something that I've learned. And abundance is not always having, it's knowing you can have. So once you become proficient with a skill like daytime call approach, and you've learned it through the system of anti-game artistry, you're never needy in your life again, because you now know you've got the skills to go outside on any given day, fuck the dating apps, fuck the nightclubs, fuck Sally from your social circle, not literally, unless she's hot. And you can just go out, you can create options for yourself. That makes you a dangerous player in the modern day sexual marketplace, because if you've got this knowingness that you can have, it means you always have the capability of walking away. It means you are not needy, you're not supplicating, you're not wasting time on dead leads. Maybe you're in situationships right now which don't really serve you, but you're scared of leaving because you don't know how long it's going to be until you meet anybody else, right? So your loyalty is not based off of true desire. Your loyalty is based around scarcity. It's not a case of you want her, you just want someone, and no shame on that. I've been there, many positions. Like, my dating life was an absolute fucking shambles for most of my adult life, but I learned it. I learned this thing, and it's a skill that we can build. Now, once you have become proficient, so you've learned a system like anti-game artistry, you've gone out, you've done approaches, ideally, you've been coached, so you can just save yourself a shitload of time and hassle and getting a reputation as some low-value pickup dude. Once you've got that out of the way, what I suggest to guys is have sessions this week where, let's say you go out into your city centre, maybe you live in London, right? Go out into London and have a session where you get phone numbers and then you just delete all of the phone numbers, right? Something that accidentally happened to me was when I make infield content, I don't pursue anything with any of the girls on camera, right? I mean, I've got an incredible wife-worthy woman in my life right now. So I've got a beautiful girlfriend, life is good. So it's really me playing the social sport and sharpening my skill set. But this is an exercise that I give to my clients as well. So if I know that, right, the guy has got the skill of daytime approach, now I just want to make you super abundant. Now I just want you to never have any doubt, no stress, no hesitation. I want you to move through the world with this rock star confidence. Then have a session where you meet great women and then just delete every single phone number that you get. Because for me, it's given me this ultra abundant mentality where I can go out, I can meet great women, I can have amazing conversations, and then I have the abundance to just be able to delete those phone numbers. I just think that's a hugely impactful exercise that any guy can start doing. Once you have become more advanced with daytime approach, that will put you into hyper abundant territory because most guys today, they don't have the abundance to walk away. They don't have the abundance to say no to women. So they're kind of fighting over sloppy seconds, like hoping and praying that women notice them. But imagine being so abundant in your life that it's kind of like what I would call hot girl mode. Yeah, being in hot girl mode where you imagine you're a hot girl, like a smoking hot 21-year-old something who's getting flooded with DMs on a daily basis. And she just be like, no. Well, you can essentially fabricate that as a man. Yeah, so you can go out, you can have a cold approach session and just start deleting phone numbers, right? Because it's going to make you less attached. And then when you do meet women who you're really into, you don't have any problems with walking away because you've proved to yourself that you are abundant. It's kind of like being able to turn down money on a sales call, right? The only reason why I can have conversations with guys and not be needy to sell them anything is because I've proved to myself time and time again that I've become the version of myself who knows how to create financial abundance. Yeah. The only reason why I can walk away and say no to business deals, the only reason why I can have these conversations now where guys booking a call, and I honestly, it doesn't matter one way or the other, whether the guy becomes my client or he doesn't become my client, I've got this abundant mentality where I can just walk away from the deal and I can give whatever is the best for the client, right? The person who's most willing to walk away has all the power, and it creates a beautiful dynamic because now when guys booking calls with me, they don't have to worry about, oh, is this guy going to hard sell me? Is this guy just going to be pushing his coaching program down my throat? No, I don't give a flying fuck if I work with you or not, but I do give a fuck about helping you. But you only get there through repetition, through becoming abundant. So maybe you go out this week and you start deleting phone numbers, deleting Instagrams. Maybe, if you're just starting out right now, then I would say this is more advanced, right? I would suggest to you that if you are a complete noob to daytime cold approach, download my free course. It's called Conversation Killer. It's completely free course, so you might as well download it. And I'll link it close to the bottom of the description. And that's a free course which literally walks you through A to Z how even the most introverted guy can get started with daytime cold approach. So it's a completely free course, Conversation Killer. You might as well download it. But I just think it's just something that I've found to be really impactful for me in my own relationships, because being able to go out there, delete phone numbers, not be attached to any one woman. Like obviously I'm in an incredible relationship right now, but I already mourned the death of this relationship before it started. This is something that I never used to do in the past. I used to just stick to women like sellotape because I was so needy. I was so in this just fixed scarcity mindset. I used to have a terrible self-image. I just used to berate myself. I used to be a crushingly cruel commentator. Even if I achieved things in my life, I would always downplay my achievements. And obviously this spilled over into my relationships with the feminine. But it meant that I was always kind of opportunistic with my dating life. I was always kind of hoping and praying that a woman would like me, rather than entering with the frame of do I actually like her? We spoke about on the live stream, the previous live stream that I created, to not focus on always be closing, but always be qualifying. I think you can only truly qualify women once you have become abundant in your own dating life. So maybe it would be useful right now, because obviously I'm kind of talking into the ether, so I don't really know who's watching these streams. But maybe it would be useful if maybe you just come across my content and you started binge watching some of my stuff. Like maybe it'd be useful right now if I could just kind of give you a rough roadmap on how you can go from starting off in the absolute mud where I started to actually developing this rockstar confidence, rockstar dating life, becoming super abundant, where you just move through the world, you don't give a fuck what people think anymore. Women come and go, friendships fade, but the relationship, this bulletproof relationship you got with yourself stays strong. So my no bullshit roadmap is, first of all, I actually would urge you to do this. Again, I'm not gonna hard sell you on any bullshit program, but just having one conversation with somebody like me could be the difference of this being the most transformational year of your life and just being a repeat of everything that you've done so far. So yeah, if you want to have a quick 30-minute conversation with me where I'm not going to hard sell you, I will just give you brutal, no bullshit feedback on what you actually need to do, I would say start off there, right? I would say, look, I would caveat that with, if you're somebody who gets easily offended, if you are easily triggered, if you honestly don't want to be broken down and explained in no bullshit terms what you actually need to do, then I'm not the person for you. I'm not the coach for you. My approach to coaching, to life, to dating is no bullshit, right? I'll tell you what you need to know and not what you want to hear. And that could save you 10 years of your fucking life. You know, I've had clients that I've worked with, guys who came out of divorces, guys in their 50s who are now in relationships with 25-year-olds. One of my guys, Sean, in 182 days, by following my advice and also being brutally broken down with my feedback, in 182 days, he got himself a fiance, right? This is a 50-year-old guy who's now looking to get married with a woman he met through daytime call approach. Another one of my clients, George, he came out of a toxic relationship. I explained to him that, well, no one's coming to save you, dude. You know, you can either mope around and feel sorry for yourself, or we can actually transmute that pain into power. He stacked momentum. He worked with me, and now he's got a beautiful, loving partner. Shout out Katie. We've had many great nights in Brewdog together. Me, George, Katie, and Yak, our 6'7" friend. You know, and I think that shows what's possible when people are given the right feedback. So that would be step one for me. It's a free call. You might as well do it. If I do think you are somebody that I would like to work with, then great. I'll explain how. I'll explain the investment. I'll explain how it actually works. But if I don't think you are the right fit, then I'll still aim to help you as much as possible on this call, and hopefully you implement the advice that I give to you. But let's say you don't want to book in the call, then what I would suggest for you is, first of all, make sure you've got the basics in check. So your fitness, your fashion, your finances, make sure you are investing into your social skills, which basically just means that you're not just spending all of your time alone and doom scrolling social media. So if you work an office job right now, just be more social at work. Maybe on your way to work, you can practice making eye contact with strangers. You can start off by just complimenting strangers. Yeah, it doesn't have to be full-on daytime call approach, but you could just be giving passing compliments to strangers as you get on the train. Yeah, oh, nice shoes, nice bag, dude, love your fucking hair. Keep rocking that. You are allowed to compliment guys as well. Doesn't mean you're fucking gay. But I think, you know, a big thing that holds a lot of guys back is just lacking this momentum. And for me, momentum is a removal of doubts. Yeah. So if you can just stack small social wins along the way, making eye contact with people as they walk past you, saying hello or saying good morning to people, you know, not just being like on your phone all the time. I see this all the time now, dude. Like whether it's on transport, whether it's people who are walking through the streets, like everybody's like so glued in right now to the metaverse. And I really view something like daytime call approach. I almost view it as an antidote. I really see it as a way we can save the entire world, because I don't really think that many guys understand the impactful power of a daytime call approach. Like you might walk out your house today and you might compliment a 38-year-old woman who's happily married, And even though you don't get a phone number, a date, a happy ending, she goes home and let's say she's got a family, she now feels more sexy. So she's going to have better sex with her husband. He's going to be happy. The children, if she has children, they're now going to be part of a more loving household. Maybe because the children are now part of a loving household, they get better grades at school. Maybe they grow up to become doctors and one day they save somebody's lives. Like, we never really stop to truly comprehend where these positive reverberations are ricocheting around. Like, can call approach change the world? I don't know, but I think it can change someone's world. And I think once you understand the power of what you're actually doing, it's not pickup, it's not this low value thing. Like, this is what the world needs, right? In this generation of airbrushed images, filtered facades, curated personas, being a sovereign individual who has the power to say to the world, fuck you, 2 middle fingers salute to a society that wants to keep you shackled. I'm going to go over, I'm going to dive bomb into discomfort. I'm going to forge a new identity through the fires of adversity. I don't give a fuck what people say. I don't give a fuck what people think. Because understand this as well. You're not just doing it for you, right? When you're going out there and cold approaching, you're doing it for your future family. You're doing it for your future bloodline. You're doing it to fight against a society that wants to keep you stuck as a passive spectator in your own life. Be a good boy, work your 9 to 5, ask for permission when you're allowed to go for a shit. It goes deeper than day game. This is true masculine renaissance. And I see it time and time again with the guys that I work with, whether it's Indian guys, Japanese guys, black guys, bald guys in their 50s, guys in their early 20s, guys who've convinced themselves that they're not good enough, that they're not tall enough, they're not rich enough, that they're not high value enough. And it's like, some of those things might actually be true, right? Some of those things might be true. Like, you might not be financially stable enough right now. You might actually look like shit. Maybe you need to improve your hygiene, but it's like, we will fix the fixables, yeah? But then it's about the narrative that you're telling yourself. Because dude, I work with guys, I work with 6, 7, even 8-figure entrepreneurs who've got more money than they know what to do with. They still don't think they've got enough fucking money, because the guys that they're comparing themselves to, it's a different breed of individual, right? And I think it's kind of like the high achiever paradox that a lot of guys face, which is, it's like the higher you climb, the further you can fall. Which is why I don't subscribe to this ideology of become a high value man, build it and they will come. Because what I found to be true with these high value guys is they feel as though they've got more to lose. They almost view something like daytime call approach as risky as opposed to an opportunity. Oh, if I get rejected, it may somehow lower my value and my status as a man. So this is why relentless action is so important. You need to get rejected. You need to get metaphorically kicked in the bollocks time and time again, like I have. I've been rejected by more women than anybody else that I know. Why? Because I just take more shots. And after a while, through exposure therapy, you get desensitized, not in a bad way, but you just realize that everything is forgettable. In 100 years' time, none of this is going to matter. So, whilst you have this shot at life, don't fucking die with your music still inside of you. And I just think something like daytime approach, it's this mission of personal renaissance. It turns boys into men. It's like the modern day rite of passage. So yeah, get the basics in check first, and then just start small. Go out, make eye contact with people. Maybe you have got the basics in check. Awesome. Just set an intention one day this week to go out and do 3 direct cold approaches in 30 minutes. If you're a busy guy, it's important that you stick to the time limit because you don't want to be wandering around the streets aimlessly. So 3 approaches in 30 minutes, get that done. And just keep getting points on the board. Like once you've done 100 direct approaches, you'll have skin in the game. You'll know what works. You'll know what doesn't work. You'll start to identify patterns. You'll become more aware of your own sticking points. Ideally, you can record the audio of your conversation so you know what you shit at. And then it's iteration through there. And then once you are going on dates, you can start doing exercises like deleting phone numbers. You can start to build a compelling Instagram. So when you're taking girls' contact details, they can go over to a landing page. And if you understand neuro branding and how to properly create a compelling Instagram profile, then it's going to do so much of the heavy lifting for you. I've got a video, just having Kristian Kasanova Instagram. I've got a full free training on how to create an Instagram, which is so good. It makes cold approach piss easy, yeah? Because if you've got a compelling Instagram, you don't need to worry too much about having great conversation skills. If you've carefully curated your profile to give off the impression to the world of the man that you are, then it becomes a lot easier. It's almost like the cheat code, I would say, for cold approach in 2025. Become elite at the skill of daytime approach, also build a compelling Instagram on the side. And then probably what's going to happen, so once you have got the basics in check and you are going out there, you are cold approaching, you are iterating, you're learning from your mistakes, you're giving yourself permission to suck, you understand that not every woman is going to want to bang you, that's absolutely fine. You're not trying to be everything to everybody. You're simply filtering for the right somebodies. Yeah. So rather than being everything to everybody, you're simply trying to be the right somebody for the right somebody. So that's a conversation around anti-game artistry. Again, just go onto my channel, just type in Kristian Kasanova anti-game artistry. You'll find some piece of content there. And then once you have started to evolve, maybe like a lot of my clients, you want to start to unlock a international lifestyle, so being able to travel the world on your terms. Yeah, imagine that, no longer having to clock into your 9 to 5, no longer having to take orders from some absolute bozo, being able to wake up when you want, being able to approach when you want, being able to train at the gym, becoming a sovereign individual. Again, this is a process that I just take my clients through. Yeah, many of the guys that I work with, they don't have aspirations to become cold approach coaches. Fine, I'll still get you to like coach level. Yeah, it's kind of unreasonable to the level that I get my clients to. But I just believe in this obsession with progression. Easily every one of my clients could become coaches if they wanted to. But maybe you have got aspirations to almost replicate the journey that I've been on. Maybe you want to get the skill of daytime approach in the fastest possible time. And then maybe you want to launch a career in the cold approach space. Awesome, let's have a conversation about it. Like if you want to learn cold approach and then become a 6-figure entrepreneur, living internationally, teaching this skill for a living, creating your own personal brand online, even you might even be watching my stuff and you've got aspirations to create a personal brand online. Maybe you are a coach at the moment and you're struggling to leverage social media to turn strangers into buyers. Maybe you want to pick my brains on how to make internet money, on how to craft an international lifestyle. Maybe you want to get around guys who think the same as you. That's what we do inside the entourage. You get access to me. And you also get access to a ready-made network of like-minded guys who will push you, who will hold you to an elite level that in a year you'll be completely unrecognizable. But yeah, if any of that resonates so far, if you want to get the skill of daytime approach, maybe you've got aspirations of becoming a coach, or maybe you're already a coach and you want to learn how to leverage social media, you want to create a more polarizing and profitable personal brand. Maybe you've hit a revenue ceiling at the moment. Maybe you like my vibe. Maybe you like what I do. Maybe you're kind of thinking to yourself, you know what? This guy can teach me something. If you think I can teach you at least one thing, then for me, that's motivation to get that call booked in with me. We'll have a conversation. If I don't think you're the right fit, that's okay. I'll still try and help you on that call as much as possible. And you can rest assured that I'm not going to try and hard sell you anything. I've got enough money. I've got enough clients. I care more about transformation. I care more about adoration. And yeah, when I get messages through like, hey, Kristian, I've got my fiance right now, or a client that I work with, Graham, 50-year-old guy, never had a serious relationship in his life, got a relationship with a 25-year-old. Those two are still together. George, his relationship with Katie. Yeah, you can see all the testimonials anyway. Kristian Kasanova testimonials on YouTube. Hit the link below. You can take a look at my website. It's all there. But the final thing that I want to talk about is probably one of the most important things. By the way, if you're still on this stream and you're still watching, I appreciate you. Do me a favor, drop the live stream a like. I'll just take a water break. I'm sweating my absolute tits off here, by the way. I'm sorry, it's like 33 degrees. I thought the aircon would have been more powerful, but I didn't want to make the AC too powerful because then there would be unnecessary background noise. So you have to just bear with. But if you are enjoying the stream, drop it a like. Consider downloading my free course, Conversation Killer, because that will just give you the A to Z on how cold approach works. And I think an interesting concept that we talk about a lot on this channel is, I'm not necessarily teaching you how cold approach works. I'm teaching you how you can become the version of yourself who cold approach can work for. Because I think there's a lot of bullshit advice online where guys can easily fall into the trap of following cookie cutter advice. So you might hear advice online like, oh, in order to be more attractive, you need to be more playful in your conversations, or you need to be more seductive, or you need to be more serious. I say fuck all of that. This is a reason why I don't do group coaching, right? All of my coaching is one-to-one. Yeah, so you work with me in the field, 3 days of radically transformational in-person coaching. But the reason why I do one-on-one is because you are a unique individual and you've got your own unique approach to life. So you might be more of a serious, logical, cognitive guy. And the last thing you want is a 28-year-old dude like me being like, hey, Barry, you need to be more playful. Well, what if you're like, well, motherfucker, I'm not a playful person, so why do I have to change my personality just to get women to like me? And the answer is you don't, right? Because when you follow a system like anti-game artistry, the whole point of anti-game is to amplify what's already authentic to you. Yeah, because a lot of bozos in this space will tell you to become more attractive, you know, bench more weight, get your eyebrows threaded. But the question is, attractive to who? Because for the right women, you as you are is their ideal archetype, right? And this is the whole point. Like, we don't need to change your personality. You don't need to present yourself as this facade, because eventually the mask will slip. Eventually she'll realize you're not this fun-loving, extroverted action hero who's got 10 Lamborghinis on his driveway, right? So the way that I approach dating is polarization through authenticity. It's saying to the world, this is me, take it or leave it. And obviously, this goes deeper because it's about being comfortable in your own skin as well, which is something that I help guys work on a lot. I realize a lot of what I do is helping guys with their internal conversation, their internal chatter. You know, it's the whole, what do you believe to be true about the world that isn't? You know, as a man thinketh, so is he. Even if it's not true, we make it true by believing in it. But something that I think is super important to keep in mind is you don't necessarily need to be making drastic changes to who you are at your core. Yeah, if you are more of a serious, cognitive, logical guy, then if you're one of my clients, and I would say to you, amplify that. Yeah, rather than trying to improve your weaknesses, let's just amplify your strengths. Okay, you're more serious, you're more logical, great. That means you're going to be able to create a more grounded gravitas in your conversations. It means you're naturally going to go slower. It means you're going to be able to create more sexual tension, more sexual chemistry. So rather than telling you, oh, you need to be more playful, let's amplify what's already authentic to you. Similarly, if you are more of a playful guy, maybe you are more lighthearted and more jovial, then we can amplify that. But you might also run into something that I ran into as well, where because I was a magician for a decade, I kind of got used to being the entertainer. So something that I work closely with my clients on is, okay, let's say you are more naturally high energy. Like, how can we also utilize other elements of, let's say, game to turn you into the full package? So something that I had to teach myself was, okay, I'm very high energy. You can just go back to the oldest videos, watch my oldest infield videos. I was going out there because I wanted to be wanted, right? I was super insecure. I wanted validation. I thought the more entertaining that I was, the more women would like me. But I realized at my core, that wasn't really me. It was more of this mask that I was wearing. So I learned how to be loved through magic. Because when I was performing magic and I was presenting myself as this high energy, this high octane individual, I would get good reactions, right? People would show admiration towards me. So it almost gave me this false sense of positive reinforcement that I thought my relationships with the feminine would run the same. Oh, I can present myself as this high energy individual, but really, I just got a lot of conversations that never went anywhere. Women never saw me as a sexual option. And that wasn't really me. It was more so the character that I'd crafted myself into just because I was crying out to be loved and adored and worshipped. So I learned to ask myself, what does the moment want right now? I think that's the best way to describe it, because a lot of times I would be speaking with women who I was highly attracted to, but I became what I'd practiced. So because I'd been a magician for so long, that became my default setting. So what I had to learn was being more grounded, because that was how I wanted to show up in conversations as well. Yeah, like when I'm not on camera, when I'm just me, I'm a pretty chilled individual. And I felt as though I wasn't really giving women that I was speaking with the opportunity to get to know me. It was like there was this like invisible wall, you know? I was kind of saying what I thought I had to say just to get the result that I wanted. So I trained myself to go slower, be more seductive, be more grounded, So therefore I could almost utilize both different energies. Yeah, so I could have the grounded gravitas, but I could also have the light-hearted, playful spirit. And combining both of these parts of my character was absolute fucking dynamite. So anyway, when I work with my guys one-on-one, I find out who they are, what their approach to the game of approaching should be like. And I don't know, I think something that I've really learned is I just give guys permission to be who the fuck they want to be. Do you know what I mean? And that just transfers. Like, I've had guys that have completed in-person coaching experiences with me. They've become part of the entourage and they've left the job. You know, they've left their soul-crushing 9-to-5 and they've built international lifestyles. They started making fuck you money. They started joining me and the rest of our entourage guys at in-person meetups that we run throughout the year. So yeah, I realize that the benefit that I've got on people's lives, it's not just with a dating life, it's a complete overhaul of their current character. Yeah. So if you've got this crystal clear vision of the man that you want to be, I get it. I was there 5 years ago, grotty apartment, Central Leeds. I was like, okay, I don't want this to be my life. I imagined 20 years from now, looking back at what I'd done, and I didn't want to be filled with regret. So I just started minimizing the time between thought and action. You know, I had this crystal clear idea of the man that I wanted to be, and I just reversed engineered it, because one of the greatest realizations that I had was we are what we pretend to be. It's not like a fake it till you make it. It's more of a believe it so you can become it. So I train Muay Thai in Bangkok. And when I go to training, I tell myself that I'm the world's greatest Muay Thai fighter. Not because I've got some uncontrollable ego, but it puts me into the mindset of how I would operate if I was the world's greatest Muay Thai fighter. Yeah, and I found acting as if is so powerful, because if you know the man who you want to be and you imagine the character traits, the belief system, the lifestyle, then you can act as if you already have it. In the same way that I live my life like I'm already a millionaire, I just don't have the money in my pocket yet. Yeah, and that's the energy that I bring into sales calls or conversations with prospective clients. It's, I don't need your money. Yeah, I imagine that I've got millions of dollars already in the bank. Like, I just want to serve. I just want to help. Yeah, it's like if you imagine that you've already got 10 beautiful women in your phone who are desperate to see you, imagine how carefree, how abundant, how non-needy you would feel. Because I truly believe, and this has been true for me in my life, if you can have it, if you can tap into that feeling, Neville Goddard describes it as assuming the state of the wish already fulfilled. And I found this is how you can almost shortcut reality and hack the game. We are what we pretend to be. So if you pretend you're God's gift to women, or if you pretend that you've already got 1 million women in your phone who are desperate to see you, and just play it out as a thought experiment. It might feel weird at the start, but something that I've learned is call approach. It's all about learning how to step into bigger shoes. Yeah, so just see how that plays out. Imagine how you would act, imagine how you would operate. And the universe will listen, right? The universe rewards action takers. One of my favorite quotes is, blessings on your courage, boy. That's the way to the stars. But I think a lot of times it's like, you know, we have these visions for our lives, and it's easy to just get pulled back into the carousel of comfort, maybe by the voice in your head, or maybe by your family. You know, what are you doing? Stay in your lane. Maybe it's your friends who, you know, maybe you're hanging around with people right now and they're not great for your own growth. Maybe they talk down to you. Maybe you try and tell them about approaching and improving yourself and personal renaissance, and like, oh, nah, that's all stupid, dude. Everything's a scam. Let's go down the pub. Let's watch Chelsea. Let's sink some pints. And I think one of the greatest gifts that I give to my clients is not just the coaching, but the community of guys that they become part of. You know, we've kind of created such a beautiful culture inside the entourage that anyone who wants to be successful will become successful. Yeah, because you've got me in your corner, and you've also got my tribe of romantic renegades who are just absolutely crushing it, who have got to such an elite level at cold approach that now their biggest problem is deciding which woman to actually choose. And something that I just wanted to talk about to end off, I appreciate this has been a bit of a scattered stream, but I just enjoy the raw authenticity of these streams, you know, like no editing, not really much thought that's going into them. I'm just kind of speaking from the heart, and hopefully some of the messages hit. I just wanted to quickly talk about the compounding effect, because something that was always a huge mindset for me when I was first learning daytime approach, and I would go out, I would have lots of rejections, or I would get phone numbers and the phone numbers would flake, or I would get phone numbers that I thought were really solid, never hear from the girl again. Or I remember going on dates in Leeds once I started to become more proficient with the skill. And I remember having moments where I was on the date with the girl and I could have gone for the kiss, but I didn't pull the trigger. I remember walking back home thinking, you absolute pussy, Kristian. Like, you should know better than this. Like, why didn't you go? Like, I've been through the ringer with daytime approach, but a mindset that always served me was you're only ever one great approach away from your entire life changing. And the same is true in business. You know, you're only ever one great connection away from everything changing. I think there's a reason why the algorithm has fed you my content. You know, I see the YouTube algorithm as God acting in disguise. I really believe that the meaning of life is the fulfillment of a promise. I'm not a dating coach, I'm not a day gamer, I'm not a pickup artist. I view myself as a freedom from bullshit practitioner. I think through cold approach, I can inspire a generation of men such as you to live a life beyond the beige, to become the most fuckable version of yourself, to just live a rock star dating life and achieve the things that you want to achieve. But this knowledge that you're only one great approach away from everything changing, I found that to be true time and time again. Like Sean, who I referenced earlier, you know, he came to me when he just turned 50 and his dating life was not where he wanted it to be. He'd been absolutely crushing it in his career, 6-figure entrepreneur, had property, was doing well in life. But the dating side of things, he still hadn't handled. And he'd had relationships where he didn't show up as the man that he needed to be, right? He didn't show up in those relationships as the man that he needed to be. So those relationships turned to dust. And his motivation was interesting because he wanted to learn cold approach to, and this is a direct quote from him, to kill the needy bitch inside of him, right? Remember earlier I said to you that daytime cold approach is the most aggressive form of self-development, and it's also going to hold a mirror up to who you are, yeah? Well, when Sean turned 50, he had the mirror held up to him. He realized that he had been a needy bitch in his relationships. He'd let women walk all over him. He didn't have boundaries. He didn't have standards. He was selecting women based around scarcity. Yeah, loyalty was based off of scarcity. It was, oh, I just want somebody rather than I just want her. So he viewed daytime approach as the catalyst for the rest of his life. He knew he wasn't getting any younger. For him, it was kind of now or never. He knew about the game for years. He'd read the game, but had never really taken action on it. So we worked together, took him through the system. We also had some great business conversations as well. He said to me, because we're in Malaga together, and he said to me that one business conversation that we had is pretty much going to triple my business because I didn't know what I didn't know. I love having these conversations with clients where I might just say something off the cuff, like, hey, have you thought about that DM strategy? Or have you thought about this particular content? Or have you thought deeply about your ICP and what they really need? And, you know, one conversation or two conversations with me, it can change the trajectory of people's businesses, their dating lives, their social lives. But you're only ever one great approach from everything changing. So when Sean came to me, he was kind of at rock bottom. And 182 days later, he met his fiance, yeah? So he approached her, but what I made Sean aware of was, even though you are only ever one approach away from everything changing, it's not that approach. It's the compounding effect of all the action you've taken up to that point. So when another one of my clients, George, met his now girlfriend, Katie, George had put in so many reps. He linked up with the network of guys who I introduced him to in London. He was following my advice of always be opening. Yeah, if you can just get into the habit of always starting conversations. Remember I was saying to you before, on your way to work, on your commute, during your lunch break, you don't need to do hardcore cold approaches, but you can just be a beacon of sociality. Is that a word? Probably not. You can basically just talk to people, right? Opening people, putting smiles on faces, having the mindset of going out there to give. You know, that's a great mindset to get started with for your first 100 direct approaches. Don't worry about dates, phone numbers, happy endings. Just aim to leave these women better than you found them, because a rising tide lifts all the boats. The more you win, the more you're going to want to win. Yeah, you're going to stack wins. That's going to build your confidence. You're going to realize cold approach isn't as scary as you thought it was going to be. Worst case scenario, she tells you, oh, I've got a boyfriend, but you know, if you've gone in there with true masculine authenticity, she's gonna feel it. Yeah, when you go over to women, just like, listen, you look fucking amazing. You're speaking to their biology and not just their psychology. Topic for another conversation. Make sure you subscribed. Drop this live stream a like. Dropping some absolute sauce here. What time is that? I'm gonna go get sushi with my girlfriend soon. I said to her that I wouldn't be late, but the mission is the mission. But yeah, you're only ever one approach away from everything changing. So when George approached Katie, his now girlfriend, it wasn't just that approach. It was a compounding effect of all of the action he'd taken up to that point. And this is why I work with my clients traditionally for at least 1 year, because over the course of 3 days, I just install my playbook into them, anti-game artistry. So now they have everything they need. So they just skip all the trial and error, get rid of all the guesswork. They're walking through a city with me. So there's just like feedback, accountability, nonstop. And then because I'm in their corner for a year, we don't let that momentum die. We don't allow them to slide back to square one. The entourage has made it impossible for my clients not to succeed. And I see it time and time again, even when Graham, another 50-year-old guy, got his 25-year-old girlfriend, it was the momentum that he stacked. It was the man he'd become. And then when he steps outside the door, he now knows one conversation can change everything. Yeah, this mindset is more applicable once you've done those first 100 direct approaches, because before that, you just need points on the board, you need experience, you need to get battered emotionally lots and lots of times, so you've got that skin in the game. But then once you have got this skill and you know you can get dates on demand with wife-worthy women, you know, because you followed a proven system like anti-game artistry, you know how to turn strangers into lovers in 57 seconds or less. By the way, the reason why I say 57 seconds or less, it's actually a lot less than that. It's probably about 3 seconds, but I don't want to make it sound too unbelievable and people are like, oh, that sounds like a scam. But the way that I see it is simple. Remember at the start, I was talking about through the lens of anti-game, you're literally screening for your fuck yeses. I know within 1, 2, at the most 3 seconds, who are my women and who are not my women. Right? So the way that I approach this game is, first of all, repulsion. So be so unapologetically yourself that the wrong women are repelled and the right women are just stampeding towards you. And then when you do find your fuck yeses, right? Maybe they're flicking their hair, they're giggling, they just light up, they might have the anime eyes as soon as you go over there. Then you can go deep with these women, right? Because they are your women. So yeah, the system that I created, in my opinion, it's the most results-driven, efficient way of cold approaching in 2025 and beyond. If you are a busy guy, you don't want cold approach to become a second job, you don't want to get a reputation for yourself as some low-value pickup dudes, and usually this comes about because you don't know when to leave. Yeah, because if you're approaching women who've got no interest whatsoever in going to bed with you, but you're following this outdated moronic advice of just keep talking, that's how you get a bad reputation for yourself. So once you've learned properly using a system like anti-game artistry, you know when to leave and when to stay, right? And this is a superpower in itself, knowing when to leave. A lot of guys will watch my infield conversations. They'll be like, "Oh, you gave up too easy on that conversation. You should have negged her more." It's like, bro, she wasn't interested in me. She didn't give a flying fuck about me, right? So move on, right? Stop wasting time on dead leads. Yeah. So if you're a busy guy, you don't have the time to be pissing away. You don't want cold approach to become a second job. You don't want to get a reputation for yourself in your city, some low value pickup dudes. Keep watching my content. Just keep watching it. Just binge watch the living fuck out of it. Download my free courses. Like, everything is here, you know? But I understand information is not valuable, right? If information was valuable, everybody who wanted to have a six-pack would have one. There's a gazillion YouTube videos out there, how to get a six-pack. The problem is, these are going to take you thousands of hours to consume and then even more time to implement with no accountability and no guarantee you're actually going to get there, right? So this is why information is not valuable. Same as learning jiu-jitsu or, I don't know, learning how to color with your eyes closed. All of the information is there, but what guys need is implementation. Yeah, that's what I charge thousands of dollars for. It's implementation. Yeah, because I understand that's where the power is. That's where the true value is. That's why I don't give a flying fuck about giving this shit out there for free. Like, you can go, you can apply it, but it's a wall of resistance that you're met with. It's a limiting beliefs. It's saying you're going to do it, but not doing it. So that's why I just allow guys to skip the trial and error, get rid of all the guesswork, transmute decades into days, and also make guys aware. This is just like my final closing thought before we say au revoir is, you know, I'm a practical man and I like practical solutions. And because I'm no bullshit with this stuff, you need to understand as well that there are no guarantees, right? The best guys, they already know this. There's no guarantees. I could pay $15,000 a year for the best personal trainer who cooks all my food, tells me what to lift, and maybe wipes my ass if I look at him nice enough. But it's up to me if I lift the weight. He can't stop me from stuffing my face with crispy creme at 11 p.m. on a rainy Tuesday. It's up to me, right? The money gives me access. Proximity is power. You can become successful through osmosis. But what I do is not a magic bullet. It's not a quick fix solution. You need to be prepared to give this everything you've got because it will be fucking hard. This is why hardly anybody becomes incredible at daytime call approach. The guys who become great are guys who are in the entourage because I will not let my guys fail. But you need to bring it. Like, you need to bring everything to the party. Yeah. And it's okay if you've got doubts. It's okay if you've got fear. It's okay if you're thinking, am I really going to be able to do this? Or am I really going to be able to get those wins? Like, doubt is normal. It's okay. But it's a decision we make when we are paralyzed by that fear. That's what defines us as men. Because what most guys are going to do, watch these videos for entertainment, make zero changes in their lives, and then outsource responsibility to the media, the government, the fucking parents, all this bullshit. And it's like, no, dude, we need to take radical responsibility for our own lifestyles. That's what I've done. I think if there's one thing you take away from my content, just let it be that. Yeah, I decided to actually make something of myself. Yeah, I could have been just that low life loser, wanking myself off to porn, working my dead end job for minimum wage, but fuck me, I wanted more for myself. And even though now I've got more money than I've ever had in my life, I've got an incredible wife-worthy woman, best relationship I've ever been in, got a thriving community, best in the world at what I do, now coaching guys how to become cold approach coaches and launch their own six-figure careers. I'm more hungry now than I was at the start, yeah? Because the more you win, the more you want to win, because now I know what I'm capable of. And that's the experience you'll have as well, whether you decide to work with me or you decide to work with someone else. Showing yourself what you're capable of, becoming a man who you respect, being able to go to bed feeling exhausted with accomplishment. It's just the best days of your fucking life, dude. So yeah, if you want to talk with me, awesome, there's a link below. If not, if you're still scared, like a scared little hedgehog, thinking, oh, it's all a scam. Yeah, not much I can fucking do for you there, mate. If you're scared of booking a call with me, you've got no fucking chance talking to a woman stone cold sober. That's just me being brutally honest with you. But yeah, enjoy the free videos, enjoy the free courses. Drop the live stream a like if you've enjoyed it. My name's Kristian Kasanova, officially best in the world at what I do, only just getting started. And yeah, I'll be heading back to London soon. So if you are interested in working with me in Europe, London specifically, I'll be back in London for a short time, not a long time. So yeah, I'll be there for about 4 weeks. I've got, I think, like 1 weekend of availability left now before I'm going to be spending the winter in Bali. So me and my girlfriend, I'm going to fly her out to Bali and we're going to have yeah, there's loads of places in Bali that I still want to explore. So yeah, I'll be heading over there for the winter. But yeah, if you're interested in working with me in London specifically, awesome, get in contact. If I think you're the right fit for the program, great. If not, I'll still try and help you. And just give you that no bullshit feedback that you're probably crying out for, you poor little sausage. So yeah, link below, everything is below. I really love you boys. Hopefully you've taken at least one thing away from this stream. If you've enjoyed like one thing that I've said, drop it a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will speak with you boys again soon. All right, love you. Bye.